Bauer in DC is a program that the CT Bauer College of Business provided for us.
There are 4 students that are selected through an interview process by faculty and staff of Bauer to go on full-time, basically 9 to 6 full-time internships in Washington, D.C.
I was able to intern in the federal government and get to see what a day-to-day is like working in public service.
My involvement with the program was that I was an intern for the Financial Services Roundtable.
Being with the Department of Commerce, that being like a cabinet agency in D.C., that's something that you can only experience in Washington. You can't really get that experience anywhere else.
Bauer in DC has been absolutely life-changing, and I think it's opened up my eyes to a lot. I've grown outside of my comfort zone, and I consider that substantial for my career.
Well, I definitely learned a lot in Washington, D.C., more so about the people and about just Washington and about politics in general.
You couldn't just be a wallflower. You really had to put yourself in front of the individuals that were going to help you get to where you needed to be. And I believe that was one of the most important things that I learned.
I was in the Office of Minority and Women Inclusion, so there I learned about all of the current issues with diversity. So it was really interesting to get to see that politics side and in a sense how businesses interrelate with politics as well.
My biggest lesson from this Bauer in DC internship has probably been to stay humble. I work with some of the top executives in the government, and they don't ever boast about their title or their position or what they've done, and it's strictly work.
My time at Bauer definitely helped me prepare for my internship in Washington, D.C. because it was in the nation's capital, so it was in a completely different environment. And I believe that I learned the power of transferable skills.
Here's where I learned about professionalism, networking, meeting people, making sure to form strong connections, as well as always being willing to learn.
Offering this kind of outside of classroom learning definitely sets Bauer apart because other business students, I guess, they're used to just being in the classroom, listening to lectures and making the grades and just moving on after that. And so they may not necessarily have that interactive, that kind of social experience that we were able to have in Washington.
We weren't just learning how to be an intern or how to work for a company. We were also learning how to maintain our lives. We weren't just going to school or going to work. We were going to school, going to work, taking care of ourselves, taking care of our finances. So I think that Montessori, kind of hands-on learning really helped me develop more as a young adult, but also made me really be appreciative of being a student.
I feel as if any type of experience outside of school that relates to your major, the field that you're pursuing, is great experience to set yourself apart, make you more competitive, and also give you more exposure to people that will help you along the way.
The first big meeting I had was in February, and we had about 50 CEOs and presidents of these banks, and I didn't say a word to any of them. Fast forward that to May, and we had our annual meeting, and I was talking to them like they were my best friends. And at the very end, I was hugging them goodbye. They were wishing me good luck. They were giving me their business cards. So I would have to say that's my biggest memory. At the very end of the dinner, they stood up and they all clapped for me. They thanked me for everything that I did, and that was amazing.
The advice I'd give to future DC interns is that you matter right now. So don't feel that you have to be prepared in terms of politics or policy going into DC. You're going to learn as you go. So I believe that the best advice I can give to you is become a part of the bigger question, and instead of thinking of yourself as a success or a failure, wherever you may be, think of yourself as a positive contribution.
Stay proactive. The normal working hours are basic 9 to 5. But your work does not start at 9 and it shouldn't end at 5.
The connections you make sure you stay in touch with them, and also when you're there, just make as many connections as you can. For example, the people that I worked with in the Office of Public Affairs at Commerce, we exchanged information before I left, and I have their personal emails, and I'm sure that one day if I want to return to Washington, D.C., that they're going to be the people that help me do that.
Washington, D.C. has definitely given me a self-confident feel about myself, and I think I'm not as afraid as I was before I left to DC.
This experience will help me with my career as far as being able to get out there and talking to other people that I've never talked to before. I have that confidence in me that I would have never gotten if it weren't for Bauer in DC.